Hi, I'm Dave Hilowitz. I'm a composer, among other things, and today I want to do something a little bit different. I'm supposed to write a film cue in the style of M83, and not just any M83 song, but a specific one that I was sent. It's called I Guess I'm Floating. I'm not going to play the whole thing because I don't own the rights to it, so I'll play a little bit so you can kind of get the idea of what it is. And we'll talk about the structure of the song, and then I guess I'm gonna give it a shot. Okay. Okay, so that's pretty much the whole song. Like, it just continues like that endlessly for, I guess, 2 minutes. There's that guitar riff that goes over the top. Then there's like this kind of very warm, pleasant synth sound underneath with very slowly changing chords. And that's like the whole thing. Oh yeah, and then there's like a sample of like kids playing in a playground or something. So I think a lot of the work that went into this is not in writing the song, it's a pretty basic song, but actually in finding the sound. It's like if you have the right sound, you can have like 2 instruments playing and it's still a complete song and it still kind of captures an emotion. And that's kind of what M83 is good at, these kind of very, very deceptively simple songs. So let's get started. Let's listen to the song a little bit again. Okay, I'm going to go back, and I'm starting with piano, as I often do. For piano sound, I'm using Addictive keys, and I'm using SPITFIRE's Lab soft piano, and it's like a mixture of the 2 of them. Okay, so I can actually get rid of this probably already, and then... Okay, so I'm going to give a shot at a riff. Okay, so I think halfway through that I kind of nailed it. Okay, that's it. We're just gonna fix the start time. Okay, I think we've got a good riff. Let's move on. Okay, so a little time has passed and I've kind of screwed around with the riff a little bit. Here's where we're at. Okay, so pretty basic. Okay, so the next step is to add synths because we don't want to stick with pianos. We need something that's kind of like a little bit dynamic, that has a little bit of motion to it, because the piano just kind of dies out pretty quickly. So I'm actually going to try to use something that I almost never use, which is this plugin called Pastoral Tones. It's basically, the whole premise of the plugin is that it helps you sound like Boards of Canada. So it's kind of funny that I'm using a plugin that's aimed at cloning Boards of Canada to clone M83, but I guess sonically they're pretty close, right? So there we go. Let's try to find it. Oh, there it is, Pastoral Tones. And I'm going to drag it onto the chord track. Turn off the riff there. Okay, so that's definitely not a good match. Well, before I... Maybe if I make this an octave higher. One of the funny things about this plugin is it actually has samples of children that you can intersperse into the synthesizer patches. So watch. So that's like the ultimate in laziness. You don't even bother to get your own kid's sample. You just grab the one from the plugin. Okay, let's try to find a sample for the riff. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just start up Contact and see where that gets us. A while back I sampled my guitar, which is a Fender Jazzmaster. I sampled every single note 4 times so that I could do round robins. It was just never-ending project. Anyway, I try to use it in almost everything I do just because I feel like I put in that much time, I should probably use it. It's kind of like when you spend a lot of money on a plugin and then you feel like you have to use it in all of your productions. Okay, so Dave's Loops and Samples, multi-samples. As you can see, I've made a lot of my own samples here. So it's probably Dave's clean guitar, and ironically, it's a distorted version of my clean guitar. So let's see how that sounds. So that's good, but I'm going to try to pair it with something else because I feel like it needs some thickening up. So I'm actually going to just search my database for guitar, see if there are other... Okay, that's pretty good. I think the next step is to make a chord progression. That's the thing about the M83 tracks. They seem like they're really simple, but they always have these like really epic chord progressions underneath the repeated pattern. So we got to do that. Okay, so I've been screwing around a little bit and I came up with a very basic chord progression. This is it. Okay, you get the idea. Next, we're going to add a bass because another thing that's kind of a signature of M83 is these bass lines that are just these like repeated single notes. This song has that. If you listen really carefully, you can hear it. Underneath all of that, there's this boom, 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 boom. So that's what I'm going to try to put in. I'm going to make a new track. I'm going to put Contact in there because I know that I'm going to end up using. What I want is a bass. Perfect. Okay, let's give it a shot. And we're going to copy over our chord track. And what I want to do, other than lower the octave a ton, is I want to figure out what note is the note that most needs repeating. Okay, so when we're starting, we're going to start on the root note, which is C in this case. This is a C major composition. So, okay, still too slow. We want it to be pretty fast. Perfect. And you can see what I'm doing here is the first note is 127 maximum velocity. The subsequent notes are all 94, or, some lower velocity. I'm basically using that as a way of indicating to people's ears the starts of the beats. So it's helpful to have it be like dum 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 dum, have some kind of accent. Otherwise, especially with something like this, the whole thing can kind of turn into soup really easily. Okay, I think the bass line sounds pretty good. Okay, so I've screwed with it a little bit. I've played with the levels. Here's how the cue sounds now. So yeah, that's pretty much it. All I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull in the footage that this has to sync up with, and I'm just going to move around some of the hit points so that it matches up a little more with the dialogue. Obviously, I don't want the riff to come in right as somebody's talking, and it's a dialogue scene. So, but that's pretty much it. Hope you enjoyed this. If you like these videos, I hope you'll consider subscribing to the channel. See you next time.